Before we start, any entry for the Judge Moist Red Glitter badge must be submitted by the 31st of January. Also, new video on Moistski Live, and I'm streaming on Twitch later tonight, all linked down below. Today I want to talk about James Bond, not James Pond, which I think is arguably the much more entertaining franchise, but instead the role that I would say made Daniel Craig, although he's not my favourite. You can all debate that in the comments below, who your favourite Bond is, why, and then re-at each other when you don't agree. Pierce Brosnan was the one I grew up with, and the one I went to see every single movie at the cinema for. That's not to say he's my favourite, but he was the one I grew up with. They were utterly ludicrous. Now, Barbara Broccoli, the producer of this current James Bond film, has said that she is not interested in seeing something that many people want. So many have asked for years for Idris Elba to portray Bond, forgetting that by the time he finally does his first film, he'll be older than when Brosnan started at 42. Big difference being that they managed to get 4 films out within 5 years before making that entirely redundant. I'm not convinced they could do it with Elba, but he could be a Bond, you never know. Another request, much like that of Doctor Who, was to make James Bond female. People can debate whether or not Jodie Whittaker is a good Doctor. I personally have not enjoyed it, and I'm not even remotely surprised that there was a year-long gap between Series 1 and Series 2, soon to drop Series 2. It was bad. That does not mean, though, as a female Doctor it's her fault. The storytelling was key, and it was bad. The same could apply to any idea of having a James Bond that is female, which many have wanted as well. But Barbara Broccoli has said that there should be new characters created for women instead, and that she's also in denial that Daniel Craig is leaving the franchise, but then again they had to beg him to do this one. After the success of Spectre and the amount of money he got paid for it, I doubt he wanted to go back to it. Couple that with the fact that his beliefs don't align with that of what James Bond is. As many remember, there were a number of posters circulated last year announcing as the new 007 Lashana Lynch, therefore covering 2 key bases, minority ethnic and female. My belief when that poster first dropped was that she was not a replacement for Craig, but a replacement for 007, not Bond or Craig. I should have said Bond first, shouldn't I? The point still stands. I believed it was integral to the character and the story of what the film No Time to Die was about. Not going to lie, I'm partially interested to see where they go. Let's not forget here Skyfall saved them, and Spectre was meh, so how they end it is going to be interesting. While speaking to Vanity, Barbara Broccoli dismissed any claims that the next actor to portray James Bond would be female, with her stating that he can be of any colour, but he is male. Continuing by saying, I believe we should be creating new characters for women, strong female characters. I am not particularly interested in taking a male character and having a woman play it. I think women are far more interesting than that, which is a huge kick in the nuts for all those who have made films where they've taken something that was a male franchise and spun it to be all women, cause all women, to the ridiculously unsurprising low success rate of all of them. Charlize Theron, I remember a couple years ago, was promoting a film she considered could be a franchise, and equal to that of Bond but with a female lead. It's doing really well, okay? It's right up there with Ghostbusters and Ocean's 8. Although it might be making more money because it's her, not Melissa McCarthy and Rihanna. With what Barbara has said, I 100% agree with her. I agree that you should be creating characters that are strong, and there are a plethora of characters, for example, within comic books, that are already strong and female. It's just a shame that when given a choice between different types of that character, they go with the most OP and unrelatable, dense, plastic-faced. I really shouldn't rag on Marvel too much. They'll own everything eventually. I'm sure my house will eventually have a Marvel stamp on it and be considered collectible. One of the things that many don't realise, certainly those who are actors, is that they don't understand what the people want. Paul Feig was an example of it when he directed Ghostbusters, and did it to suit an agenda not considering what the audience wanted. The same for any other film, really, that the fans don't want. If you want an action film with a lady fronting it, don't make it about the gender of the person fronting it, and you have a chance of succeeding. Do I now need to list successful franchises where a woman has fronted it? I'll start with Sigourney Weaver and end with Mila Jovovich. Whether you like Resident Evil or not, and the dud movies within it, it's still a success. Notice though, no one made a fuss about the gender of either people involved. The point is, if you want to make a successful franchise, you don't need to take something that already exists and has canon and is established and pervert it, cause you are only creating a niche and alienating the core audience. The niche being towards a potential new demographic, most of whom are not interested in the first place. In fact, it could be argued those that are more interested in action movies regardless of the person fronting it are men. So do you really want to say whammon because whammon, we need more whammon and whammon on top of whammon doing more whammon things? Additionally, do you need to shove gender down people's throats about it? No. Oh, I left out Wonder Woman because the second film hasn't come out yet. I know someone's going to mention it. Along with many other films and actresses that are incredibly talented. I figured I didn't need to name every single person from every single franchise that is an action-based movie that is successful. Somewhat understandably, there has been criticism aimed at Barbara Broccoli for saying this. I tend to think, shut up. She's right. It is something many of us have been saying for years, since this influx of ridiculousness. Whenever I see things like this, the first thing I think is, I wonder how long Doctor Who is going to last with its current pet experiment before it decides to give the fans back what it actually wants. I mean the actual fans, not the ones from the forums who sit there all day talking about minor nuances and continuity errors. One doctor, one assistant, and a decent story that isn't guilting everyone cause. Sigh. With this, I'm very much interested to know what you think. Whether you think Barbara Broccoli, and I know I've mispronounced that a few times, but I'm okay with it, is right. Whether you think she's right, and whether you think there's any substance to what she says. Who do you think also should play Bond next if you are at all interested in that particular franchise? Please do let me know in the comments below. So I hope you'll have a fantastic Monday. And if I don't see you over on Twitch tonight at 8:30 PM GMT, thank you all for listening.